Hi, my name's Lou, and today I'm going to be reading to you from the internet. Why? Well, why not? What? Well, today I'm going to be reading to you from the Erowid Experience Vaults. Erowid is basically a drug information clearinghouse. It's a great resource if you're going to be trying some new illicit drug, and some of the people are kind enough to share some of their experience, trip reports, if you will. And that's what I'm going to be reading today, Erowid Experiences. Real drug experiences by real users. All right, let's get started. The first experience that we'll be sharing today is one entitled Facial Fuck Up, Inhalants, Freon by Unknown. Okay, I smoke weed, drink, and take less dangerous methods of DXM, but Freon is the only thing I do not like. Not because of the effects, it's actually better than some things. But you will soon find out why I no longer like it, and why I will not be doing it anymore. Standing up, that is. 6 a.m. I'm getting prepared for school, and seeing as how I've not gotten high in a while, tripped off DXM at school. Yes, I do those things at school, but I can control myself well for the dosage. Anyway, I figured I would try huffing Freon. I heard about it from where else? School. I tried it once before, but I didn't hold the Freon in my lungs. Well, around 6:20, I decided to go out back and get some out of the AC. I walked to the bus stop 5 minutes early so I can get in a couple of hits before the bus comes. Well, I'd taken a large amount, holding it for 10 seconds or so. Then the effects came quickly. I felt like I stood up really fast and got lightheaded, times 10. The ringing in my ears subsided, so I took another large breath. I started losing my vision, but I was too delirious to notice. I guess I was unconscious while standing. The second breath was a bad mistake. The next thing I know, I'm slowly waking up and trying to pick myself off the pavement. I look down and see all 4 of my front teeth sitting in a pool of blood. I ran back to my house and called some people, not knowing what my excuse was going to be. Falling face first in the middle of the street. But I just say I tripped. After a few minutes, I went back outside and got my teeth. I ended up getting 3 reimplanted. They came out with the root. 1 broke off at the gum line. It's been 2 weeks of hell. Not worth the 30 seconds of being high. Now that I look back, I'm actually pretty lucky, considering it was still dark when it happened, and I believe the bus would have run over me if I had been there any longer. I'm not telling you don't huff Freon. Just make sure you don't hurt yourself, because when you pass out, you don't have a clue what happened after. So at least be sitting, and don't inhale too much. Good luck, and be safe. Keep your teeth. Experience year 2004, gender male. Added November 16th, 2004. The next Erowid Experience Vault entry I'm reading is entitled Rectal DXM. Rectal Robo. Okay, I was stupid. Very stupid. Don't do this, and if you do, read everything I say. 11:15. Injected about 7 cc's water, 4 cc's generic light dry rum, and approximately 500 milligrams pure DXM into my rectal cavity. 11:45. Slight discomfort within my lower intestinal region, similar to normal DXM gas. 12:03. Rushed to the bathroom without even getting dressed, landing on the pot without even closing the door, releasing more anal force than I have ever experienced, including my recent encounter with food poisoning. Okay, this experience is very similar to severe Hershey squirts, with the addition of DMX ejecting itself from your body. I don't know how many times I've chatted with people before, during, and after they've snorted DXM. And not to forget my own near-death experience doing it as well. I just imagine that times 100. I knew the exact moment the powder hit my asshole. I bit my lip really hard while trying to scream, but I couldn't because all my senses were focused on the birth of Satan. This is truly a horrible experience, but not long-lasting and solved by wiping my ass with toilet paper. Unfortunately, I took this to be the alcohol coming in contact with my asshole. 12:15. All showered up and laying in bed in disbelief what I had actually done. Listening to music, suddenly noticing a very slight enhancement in serenity to my overall consciousness, with a deeper focus and involvement towards it. 1:03. After several trips to the pot to blow off the remaining steam inside me, I contemplate on G-Dog's enema recommendation and grin to myself thinking, how could I possibly have any more fecal matter waiting to be born, considering trying it again, this time with a lesser dose. 1:11. Reconnecting with feelings recently experienced, I found myself quickly squatting on the can, hoping I don't poop out the DXM. Yup, it happens. I quickly clean up and get myself showered, and just sit on the toilet smoking cigarette after cigarette. 1:50. Realized that almost a very small fraction of my intestinal merchandise had been excreted the first time. And considering that maybe having shit deep within my bowels might be my problem, I decided to give myself an enema and try it again. 2 o'clock on the dot, I shove another pill up my ass, this time about 500 milligrams. 2:40. I sit here and think, man, what if I took too much? What if I get so completely fucked up? This is the longest I've gone without discomfort of any kind yet. I guess I'll wait and see. I'm pretty accustomed to running to the toilet and releasing pressure now. I'll just lie down and ride it out. 2:50. Okay, fuck this bullshit. I got all gassy and shit again, only this time it was fucking blood. Experience year 2002. Gender, male. Added May 7th, 2004. And finally, I'll read to you from the Erowid Experience Vaults on a story entitled Most Unpleasant, Scared Straight. The drug of choice, 5-MeO-DMT by Exile. My experience with 5-MeO-DMT marked the end of a long and exhausting year of drug experimentation. I should preface the actual report by saying that I was, in retrospect, deeply depressed at the time, and this undoubtedly colored my experience. My friend and then roommate and I got a 50 milligram bag of 5-MeO-DMT at a local store and took it back to our apartment. I was the first to try it. I insufflate what we estimated was 15 milligrams of the total amount and sat down on the sofa. The onset was rapid and the experience was overpowering. I had previous experience with hallucinogens, LSD, psilocybin mushrooms, salvia, and had always felt able to differentiate and mediate between the experience and the I as a subject. The hallucinations were consensual. I could open myself to them or hold them back. This time, however, the experience was relentless and psychologically brutalizing, and I barely had enough sense to sit back and allow the drug to beat its path through my mind. The high tapered off rapidly, after 10 or 15 minutes or so. After the high, I was nervous and giddy at the sheer unrelenting force of the drug. I felt no richer for the experience, merely beaten up. My friend was next. He took a smaller 10 milligram dose and was likewise immobilized and barely responsive on the couch for 10 to 15 minutes. He managed a few exclamations of awe. After, we both agreed that the experience was like being shot out of a cannon, and though we didn't regret taking it, we wouldn't take it again. My friend retired to his room to sleep, and the night would have ended there if it were not for some still inexplicable urge to go back and really brutalize myself. I insufflated most of the rest, 20 to 25 milligrams, and went to lie down in my bed. Almost immediately, my stomach felt most inauspicious, and I felt terror mount. I managed to get up and walk to the bathroom, where I gripped the sink hard with both hands and desperately wished the experience away. Then it started. I was unprepared. I felt no recourse to any mental comfort, and could not in any way make sense of what I was experiencing. Indeed, I could not even recognize my own inability to make sense of my situation. The experience was beyond language. I can only say, in retrospect, that it felt like the psychological analog to plummeting very fast through a fractal void. I was unadulterated terror. When I came to, I was lying in the bathtub, my roommate standing over me looking very concerned. He was woken up by the sound of incoherent shouting and found me in the bathtub flailing violently. I had vomited all over myself and was bleeding from the nose. The whole thing lasted about 15 to 20 minutes. He was about to call for help. "I'm okay," I managed. I'm okay. More for my sake than for his. I explained what I had done. When he was sufficiently convinced that I was back, he retired again to his room. Something inside me had snapped and I felt like an assemblage of broken parts. I took drugs maybe once or twice after that, neither significantly hallucinogenic, cocaine and heroin, both nasally and on different occasions. Since then, almost any significantly psychoactive drug, including so-called mild drugs like coffee and marijuana, caused me to feel distress, even at small doses. As a result, I have avoided all but the rare alcohol or caffeinated drinks since. I suffer from frequent bouts of depression and anxiety. I don't know that I can link them to the 5-MeO-DMT experience, but I am certain that it didn't help. Experience year 2003, gender male, added February 5th, 2007. Oh, brother. Yes, so scared straight that guy was that he continued to do drugs and including heroin and cocaine. Great topic for your post. I hope you've enjoyed these trip reports. Maybe next time I'll do some trip reports where people actually enjoy themselves instead of knock out their teeth, have colorectal bleeding, or have complete loss of self. Maybe not. Anyway, thanks for listening again, and we'll see you again next time on Lou Reads.